Hello, everybody. It is I, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. You might be asking, man, it's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks, Rob, since we've done a subscriber encounter story. But as you all know, I've been pretty busy. I'm back on track to put these out for you once a week. I've got several unanswered emails regarding these stories I have to get back to. So if you haven't heard your story yet, trust me, it is in queue. I have to give a special thanks out to everybody that's purchased my book. It's been out about 10 days. Bigfoot Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters Book 1. The link for this, if you want to buy the book, will be in this description. Here it is, of course. And again, for all you fine people that have bought it, thank you ever so much. And I have to thank everybody that donate on the super thanks for these videos. It does help the channel out, and I do appreciate it so much. Don't forget, on Tuesday night, 9 in the East, Beyond BMR, my live show, and my other live show, along with Krista, Thursday, Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. And, of course, that is 1 o'clock Thursdays. But let's get on with it. Fantastic story, everybody. Kick back, relax. Thanks for joining on in. Cape Pole, Alaska. I'm writing this as a 75-year-old man, Rob. Back in the day, I went by the name of Big Benny, mainly for my stature. I stood 6 foot, 3 inches tall, and weighed nearly 300 pounds. My family was a big player in the logging industry in the town of Cape Pole, Alaska. I was being groomed to take over the family business. That was short-lived, and in fact, the logging industry here ended in 1978. I had worked alongside my father as a 13-year-old, and this was to be mine all one day. First, I will give you a brief history of the town. Cape Pole was a populated place on the eastern shore of Fisherman's Harbor, on the southwest coast of Kosciuszko Island in Prince of Wales, Alaska. I know I botched that, sorry. It was a thriving logging camp from 1954 until it was shut down by a federal court in 1978. A post office was established in 1949, and it discontinued in 1953. As of 2019, some buildings still remain at the town site, but is not reported as separate population on the census since 1980. Getting on with my story. So you guys, today is a ghost town. The night of my 21st birthday, I had fallen asleep. I had become inundated with several dreams. These dreams were in message form. Some of the questions were short phrases, such as, "Why do this?" "You know nothing." "You disturb sacred land." I woke up thinking to myself, what a strange dream. Like most dreams, I soon forgot about it and went on my duties working alongside my father. 1 week later, I had another similar dream. This dream, once again, had these strange messages. However, this dream was different, as images of tall, powerful shadows, one in particular. It was as tall as a building, or so it seemed. There were spirit-like entities circling about this immense shadow. The dream was extremely vivid and almost lifelike. It was like my physical body was observing these images in real time. I awoke in a sweat, and frankly, I was a little bit confused, and it took me several moments to shake off my dulled senses. These dreams continued on for several months with each night's dream becoming more and more vivid. The verbiage and messages became more pronounced. The message became threatening and had undertones of death and tragedy to be cast upon my father and my family. The images of the tall, shadow like figure or figures took on the frame of a large, hairy covered human like entity. The spirit beings surrounding the large figure cast a description of small children, which gave me the realization that these children were apparently lost souls looking to be brought to the other side. It was like they were trapped and seeking to be released. Why was I the recipient of such disturbing dreams? This plagued me, and I feared not to tell my father, as he would hear nothing. He would assume it to be nonsense, and he would perceive me as being weak. I trapped I felt trapped inside myself with my newfound yet strange journey. It seemed like every night that I had been transported back in time with these apparitions. I became relieved after several months because the dreams had stopped. My father and I continued our logging and taking down the trees of the forest to process and sell in our thriving business. Then one day, just before nightfall, my dreams became a reality. I was off by myself, scouting ahead for a new section to process for the business. Out of the tree line, a very tall and immense figure appeared before me. It had to stand over 12 feet tall. It was looked powerful, with a girth expanding, rotating its body of at least 5 feet. The face was discernible as it was covered in hair, but those yellow eyes stared back at me. Those yellow eyes. It looked through me. It looked through my inner self. Excuse me. The children-like entities appeared around this huge apparition as well. The screams echoed out towards me from these little figures. The screams were agonizing and painful. Then the huge beast spoke to me in my mind. It said, "You have not acted on your messages. You continue to destroy my home and my land. It will be dealt with, and this all ends today." So this is the message that this entity is now communicating to this guy's mind. Horrifying. I was horrified, as he says. I ran to where my father was located about a half mile away. As I made my approach to my father's work site, many of the company workers were huddled around in a circle, and they all appeared to be distraught. Some were crying, while others were frantically running around. They were running about and they had no apparent destination. It was complete chaos. When I got closer to the men, I saw a large tree had been snapped. Not cut as a part of our daily processing, but snapped and had laid upon the ground. And this tree was 5 feet wide around the base minimum. The closer I got to the group and this fallen tree, my worst nightmare had become a reality. Of all the warnings that I received, and my failure to communicate this to my father became an actual living nightmare. Lying underneath the massive tree lay the crushed body of my father. I fell to my knees and wept. If if I had only acted upon these visions, I failed my father. I failed my family. My mother later passed away within months, and the family business went bankrupt. Was I supposed to tell my father that we were in danger? Clearly, something wanted us to leave. I think the only reason I am still alive today is that this entity, or whatever this was, wants me to suffer. I believe this was a message from Sasquatch, and to this day, I still do not understand Big Benny. Wow. You know, Big Benny, reading that, was this sacred land? Was this a Sasquatch? Was this a message? Certainly, the dreams had every indication to this young fellow to get with his father. You know, they're in the business, they're in the logging industry. He was supposed to take over, yet they were perhaps on sacred ground. So the dreams, so I believe these dreams, these messages were set to this man to say, hey, Dad, listen. Now, of course, according to the email, what I just read, I'm sure the father would have blown it off. He did. I'm sure the son did not want to feel, I don't know, ashamed. I didn't think he wanted his dad to cast shame on him. Went about his business. But how ironic that during this story, it was brought upon in these dreams that something tragic would happen to the father and the family. And sure enough, ironically, a tree that had been cut down as part of their business crushed the father. The mother passes. And this 75-year-old man, Big Benny, if you're listening, my heart goes out to you, my man. Tragic story. What do you think? Was this Sasquatch? I know we all have differing opinions on Sasquatch as the gentle forest beast. Don't hear much about him actually causing harm or killing people. I don't know. Let me know what you think in your comments. Thank you for subscribing to Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Please buy my book. I'll have the link in the description. Share me out. Turn on the alert bells. Subscribe. I'll see you on Tuesdays at night, Thursdays during the day, and another encounter story next week. Love each and every single one of you. I am Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Have a great weekend.